A new statement from the leadership of the Society of St. Pius X, or SSPX, has sparked intense discussion across the Catholic world. The debate comes as the SSPX prepares to consecrate new bishops without papal approval. The Vatican has warned that such consecrations could lead to automatic excommunication for those involved. But for some critics, the issue goes beyond the planned ordinations. They argue that a recent SSPX document reveals deeper disagreements with the Catholic Church itself. The discussion centers on a declaration released on May 14th and addressed to Pope Leo XIV. According to critics of the document, some of its statements appear to conflict with Catholic teaching on several important issues. One example concerns the relationship between the Old Covenant and the New Covenant. The SSPX declaration states that Jesus Christ made the Old Covenant definitively null and void. Critics argue that this language creates a problem because St. Paul taught that God's promises to the people of Israel remain significant and that God's gifts and calling are irrevocable. For many Catholic theologians, the Old and New Testaments are not enemies. They are connected parts of God's plan of salvation. Another point of controversy involves the well-known phrase, "Outside the Church there is no salvation." The SSPX declaration strongly emphasizes that every person must belong to the Catholic Church in order to be saved. Critics respond that this interpretation is too strict and does not reflect how the Church has explained the teaching over the last century. They point to earlier Church documents that recognize God's grace can work in ways that are not always visible, and that salvation is not limited to a simple legal definition of church membership. Because of this, opponents of the declaration argue that it presents a narrower understanding of salvation than official Catholic teaching. Some also note what they see as an irony. The declaration says that rejecting even one truth of the faith damages unity with the Church. Yet critics claim that some of the declaration's own statements differ from teachings supported by major Catholic thinkers such as St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, as well as several papal teachings throughout history. For these observers, the controversy highlights a much larger issue. They believe the SSPX's disagreement with Rome is not only about the traditional Latin Mass. Instead, they argue that deeper disagreements involve subjects such as religious freedom, the nature of the Church, relations with other religions, and teachings associated with the Second Vatican Council. As the July Episcopal consecrations approach, tensions continue to grow. Some historians and commentators warn that proceeding without papal approval could create an even wider divide between the SSPX and the Vatican. Others still hope a last-minute solution can be found. What happens next remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The debate is no longer only about liturgy. It is about authority, doctrine, and the future relationship between Rome and a movement that includes hundreds of priests, seminarians, and faithful Catholics around the world. For many observers, the coming weeks could become one of the most important moments in the long and complicated relationship between the SSPX and the Catholic Church.